Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Today we have a very special presentation for you. This is one of our Versus videos. We do these from time to time, and I thought it would be cool to compare the Flux M17 Raider chassis for the P320 series / M17 series of pistols to the B&T Universal Service Weapon chassis for the Glock 17L. And we're going to kind of compare and contrast features and kind of see what we like about each one and sort of just check these things out and have a little bit of fun. Before we get started with today's video, I'd like to thank our friends from RMA Body Armor. They're a veteran-owned and operated body armor company, all U.S. made from start to finish. They have armor that will cover a variety of different threats, all the way up to the most latest hard armor. We've done a couple of videos on their different types of body armor. We're going to have many more videos on the way on some of their offerings, and they represent a really, really great value for what they offer, and they are certainly the king of armor. So check them out. Really great people, and we love doing body armor videos. We just thought we would mention them here for supporting this particular video. Check out the link in the description box below. Go pick yourself up some armor and tell them that we said hello. All right, so we're gonna compare and contrast these two guns. Probably one of the most distinctive and important features that these two chassis systems share is that the optics mounting platform is on the chassis itself, okay, and not on the actual host firearm. Okay, now the Flux company makes a Glock Flux, but it is a much different setup that relies on some different components in order for it to operate on the Glock because of the design limitations of the Glock compared to the chassis configuration of the SIG pistols. Okay, with the Flux Raider, what's cool about it is they can actually design a brace system completely around the M17 series of pistols and do it really in the exact way that they want to without having those design limitations and get that optics mounting platform on here, okay? With the Flux Raider, you have a brace that collapses, so this setup is nice and compact. You can deploy the brace, and you've got this setup nice and compact. This particular one is wearing a Steiner MRS. I really do like these small optics. You can co-witness the irons, which is really cool. You've got a couple of QD points for slings and things like that. And you've got the ability to hold 2 magazines, and I'll show you how this particular setup works here in a moment. All right, moving on to the B&T, this particular setup is really, really neat because this is all aluminum, super, super rigid. And the thing that I like about the USW is that everything is super, super rigid, and you just drop your host pistol in there. So in this case, we're running a 17L. So the 17L rides in here, and the back plate is replaced with this charging handle right here. So your charging handle is the same type of arrangement you would expect on any other type of B&T product, and you've got a folding stock. Now immediately, one thing that is a little bit of a tiny detriment on the B&T compared to the Flux is on the B&T, you do have to fill out your form and SBR this because they don't offer this in a brace type of configuration. So this does constitute an SBR. So immediately, right out the gate, you're out another $200 and an endless wait. But it is a great setup. And personally, I think if you're going to run a chassis system in the Glock, I feel like this is kind of the king of chassis systems for the Glock, especially when you add the 17L into the configuration here. So, we are at the range. We do have some ammo, so we can go ahead and we can shoot these things a little bit. And we've already done videos on both of these that are dedicated, so if you want to check them out, be sure and do that if you want. And also, it's worth noting, we did do a video where we compared the M17 SIG to the Glock 19X service pistol. And we did a comparison on those, so if you want to check that video out. We've also done some Versus videos on the 870, 590, so on and so forth. All right, so here's the 17L. It's a great setup. This one has a Chevron RMR on top with the fiber optic capability. Really nice. Shoot this thing. Yes, sir. All right, right out the gate, the long sight radius and the longer barrel on the 17L translates to some wicked accuracy, which I absolutely love. Because this is an SBR, we got a nice generous forward grip, which makes controlling this gun in rapid fire extremely easy. One thing that I'll mention about the universal service weapon and the Glock configuration, what I like so much is the compact nature when it's fully collapsed. This is a very, very tiny gun that's easy to conceal in a backpack, easy to conceal really anywhere, under the seat, in your truck, even on your person if you so choose. It's a very compact system, and in my opinion, this really represents one of the best PCC options. If you're going to have a pistol caliber, let's just say rifle in this particular case, whatever, you might as well have something as compact and tiny as it possibly can be, and you can still remove the host pistol from this chassis and run it as a standard pistol and go right back to doing it. You do have co-witness ability here as well. So you can see this little cutout in the rear. You can still see the irons if your optic somehow goes down. All right, so it is spring loaded. When you pop the stock loose, very easy to deploy, easy to use. And I love the fact you can swap that charging handle to either direction if you wish. Right here, it's set up on the left. One thing I like about this gun is that you can manipulate the slide and most of the controls from your non-firing hand. You can keep everything there, you can reload and everything. So very, very handy. Now the Flux. So in the way that I really like this system as being an apex of what I consider the Glock chassis, right, to be. This is certainly the apex as the B&T for Glocks. Now, the Flux guys do the Glock chassis, and it's not bad. That's how they got their start, and I was really amazed at that concept. But their Flux Raider is really where the rubber meets the road on this particular setup. This is a brace, okay? So this does not require any NFA paperwork. You simply buy the chassis, and you just have to have a P320, M17, or M18 to drop in here. Personally, I would go with the longest slide you possibly can in this. You know, you want to get that extra velocity, okay, and accuracy, but you basically just deploy the brace, all right? You've got an angled foregrip up here, which is not a vertical foregrip, and this is not a vertical foregrip. This is a extra mag holder, okay? We're going to shoot this a little bit. All right, and I'll show you how it works. This one does have ambidextrous manual safety as well, and all of your controls are pretty much the same as you would see on your standard SIG pistol. All right, we got our Signer MRS on. Let's have a little fun here. All right, so the cool thing about this, all right, the slide is to the rear. I've got an empty mag. If I push this forward button slightly, I can release the magazine in the front. If I push it all the way, I can release the rear mag simultaneously. So I'm eliminating one movement from the situation. When I come back up, if I push the brace unlock button down, it will actually ride the slide stop down. Brace is already out, and we're back in action. And of course, if you were doing that for speed, you can do it lightning fast with a little bit of practice. Yes, sir. Okay. Right here, if you just push this one lever forward, that's your rear magazine release. So you have the rear, the front, or both, depending on how you actuate it. So what I'll do, I'm going to put an empty mag in the rear, put a full mag up front. The slide is to the rear. All right. We can do a mag swap just that quick. Yes, sir. That is quite the dose of personal protection right there. All right, you're done. You want to deploy it. Put your mags back in, whatever condition you want to put the gun in, apply the safety, and just like the universal service weapon, when it is completely in its smallest configuration and the slide is closed, they're both extremely compact setups, okay? The Glock probably wins a couple of points overall, mainly just by virtue of magazine capacity. So the Glock does have really good functional machine gun mags and 33 rounds, which is nice. The SIG might lose a couple of points just because you do have a little bit less magazine capacity, and the magazines are considerably more expensive than the Glock. just something to consider. But I do love how compact this setup is. It's really, really nice. Both of these are absolutely ideal backpack guns. One slight detriment that we might mention on this setup too is also cost. All right, a 17L pistol is certainly going to be a lot more money than just an off-the-shelf P320 or M17. So that's one thing to consider if you want to run the long slide. The other two is the cost of the chassis is considerably higher on the B&Ts than the Flux is. Then you've got the addition of a $200 tax stamp that you have to mess with on the B&T. So as long as you're okay with spending a little more money and then having to apply the tax stamp, this is certainly probably one of the best options for a Glock you could certainly ask for. So we'll run a couple of the 33 round mags, have a little bit of fun here. Oh yeah, dude, I don't know. This 17L is ridiculously accurate. To be fair, we are running a longer barrel on this pistol than what we have on the P320, but, oh buddy, I might actually have to find me one of those X series P320s or M17s and get the slightly longer sight radius to put in this Flux, because you can see on this chassis we do have a little bit longer space to accommodate a longer slide. So that might be something we do in the future, so it's a little bit more fair of a comparison. But buddy, if you've ever shot a 17L, these things are absolute tack drivers. They are fantastic. Now, I will admit, quite selfishly, I really wanted to make this video just so I'd have an excuse to shoot both these guns at the same time, because they are fantastic. You're not going to go wrong with either setup. And I don't want anyone to think that I'm trying to choose favorites, okay? When I make these versus videos, I feel that it's very important for you guys to just see the features and make your own decisions based on what you need, what you want, right? You know, and that's an important thing about being a consumer, right? If you're going to spend your hard-earned money on a product, you need to know what you're getting yourself into. You need to know the inherent quirks and pros and cons of each setup. And hopefully I discuss those pros and cons in an open manner you can understand. I do like both these guns very much. And it's hard to choose one over the other. I would say that if a Glock was the gun that I wanted to run over anything else, well then obviously the B&T is going to be certainly the best fit. I feel like this is the Glock's best companion for sure is the B&T. Not to say that the Flux product is not a good product for the Glock, but I feel like they have really come into their stride on the SIG series of pistols. I'm not going to sit here and tell tales out of school as to what could be on the horizon from these folks or B&T. But I really do love this setup, and if you've got a spare M17 or a spare P320 laying around, or if you're like me, what I went through, I had a P320 right when they first came out, and then when they released the military versions, the M17 and the M18, I upgraded to an M17 later on, and then I ended up having my old P320 just laying around I wasn't using. It's perfect for that if you've got a spare gun laying around from back in the day that maybe you got one early on. Each of them have their own, unique benefits. I do like both of them, and I hope you guys had fun watching today's video and you learned a little bit of something. Definitely want to take a moment to thank all of our Patreon supporters that have supported us over the years. Thank you so very much. Also, those of you who have purchased man cans, we got plenty of great man cans for sale on the website. If you love what we do and you want to support us, you can do that. Go over to Ballistic Ink, pick yourself up a snazzy t-shirt. All the funds we get off of those types of projects go right back into supporting our channel. We hope you enjoyed today's video, and make sure you check out RMA Body Armor there at the link below. Go check them out. Veteran-owned group of people, really good armor for a great price. Thank you guys so much for watching. Many more videos on the way. What do you want to see me compare? Is there a versus video you want to see us make? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll make it just for you. You just let me know. Have a good day. Many more on the way. See you soon.